So today I want to go over some of the controversy around Starfield when it comes to planet exploration and travel. Now, the basis of what I'm going to be going over in this video is that it seems the planets of Starfield are split into these different tiles or these different chunks. And once you get to the edge of one of these tiles or chunks, there'll basically be an invisible barrier where you'll either have to go back to your ship and choose a new landing spot to go to a different chunk. But there's a lot more information that goes along with this. And this all started from some leaks from somebody who has a review copy of Starfield. Don't worry, I'm not going to be showing any of those leaks in this video, but basically what they did is landed their ship on a planet. They were still in the tutorial, and then they went and walked for as far as they could walk. And then at a certain point, they hit an invisible barrier where it told them they would either have to go back to their ship or go to their map and choose a new landing location to be put in what's basically another tile. Now, one of the most important piece of information when talking about this is that this person walked for around 40 minutes going from the location of their ship and going to the border of that tile. So it took them about 40 IRL minutes of walking to get to the border of the tile they were currently in. So that leaked information is basically what started all of this controversy around Starfield. But since then, we have gotten some reputable journalists who also have review copies of Starfield come out and give some explanations and give some information on how the system is actually going to work in Starfield. So just right off the bat, from all of the information I could find, Starfield is not going to have seamless exploration around the entirety of a planet, but you are still able to explore the entirety of a planet. And like how I went over before, it seems the planets are split up into these pretty massive chunks or tiles where seemingly it could take 60 minutes to walk from end to end. Because remember, when talking about those leaks, that character took around 40 minutes to walk to the edge from their ship, and it seems like your ship is kind of the center of the tile. So it's seeming like on average these tiles are going to take longer to walk end to end than it will take you to walk end to end in Skyrim. So it's seeming like you could walk the entirety of Skyrim faster than you could walk the entirety of one of these tiles on a planet. But we have gotten some more detailed information from Tom Henderson on Twitter, the first one giving the information that basically planets have a different number of landing spots with terrain limits. One planet might have 3 landing spots whilst another may have 5. These are your main landing spots with points of interest, and then you have another number of landing spot allocations where you can land anywhere, and all of those have terrain limits. So you can't run all the way around a planet and you can't run to another landing spot. So you have 3 to 5 landing spots that are points of interest. So these would be like preset landing spots or generated landing spots, depending on where points of interest are on that planet. So places that would actually have something of substance. Then you also have 3 to 5 landing spots where you can land anywhere. And once that limit of 3 to 5 spots is reached, you can still go land anywhere else you want, but it will rewrite or delete your oldest landing spot. So you can still go anywhere on the planet, you can still explore anywhere on the planet, you can still land anywhere you want whenever you want, but it's basically going to be deleting or deloading some of your first landing spots. So to make this a bit more understandable, say you go to a planet and you have 3 slots of landing spots on that planet to where you can land anywhere you want. So you can go to a planet, land anywhere you want, that'll take up one of your slots. Then you can go land in 2 other locations. Again, those are anywhere you want to go land. But then once you try to go and land in a new location, you can still do it and you can still land anywhere you want, but that first place you landed will basically be deloaded. Now, all the information I could find is that that first location isn't deleted, the content isn't changed or randomized. It just seems like this is how they're going about loading or deloading certain locations. So it seems like all 3 of those landing spots would in some way still be loaded. So maybe it would be quicker to load if you go back to those previous spots you landed at, but that first one that would now be deloaded may take longer to load into, or there may be some type of UI elements on your map showing you the last couple places you landed. And also keep in mind when we're talking about about all of this, all of these landing spots are different tiles that are going to be like the size or technically bigger landmass than Skyrim had. So we don't have all of the information on how this system is going to work, but I think the most important parts are how this is going to play out when you're actually playing Starfield. And one of the most important parts being just how big these tiles are going to be, because I think a lot of people are thinking that you're going to land your spaceship into one of these locations or choose wherever you want to land, and then it's going to take you a couple minutes and you're going to get to some invisible barrier, and then you're going to have to get in your ship and go to a new tile, and it's going to break up your exploration a ton. But people aren't understanding how big these are. Like I mentioned, these things could take 40 plus minutes to walk from your ship to the edge of the tile. It's going to take that long of just walking in a straight line to the edge to get to the point where you'd have to choose a new landing location to go into a new tile. Now, along with this, you can still explore the entirety of a planet. These aren't just like some random tile that it just randomizes when you go to a new one. You can still explore the entirety of a planet if you want to. You would just go one tile, then once you explore the entirety of that, you would choose a new landing spot in the next tile and then go explore that. So you can still explore the entirety of the planet if you want to, and these tiles you're in are absolutely massive. And if you're just playing the game normally, not trying to get to the border, you're still going to have a ridiculous amount of space to play in before you would have to go to a new location. Remember, the landmass of these tiles seem to be around the size of Skyrim. So I do understand some people being a bit disappointed that they want to be able to explore the entirety of a planet just walking in a straight line if they want to. That will legitimately take you hours of IRL time if you actually want to do that. But once you're in the game actually playing, I don't think you're actually going to notice this that much. If you're on, say, one of the main planets or one of the populated planets and not one of the barren planets, there's going to be tons of different quests and side objectives and points of interest and enemies and creatures and resources that you're not just going to be walking in a straight line. There's going to be ridiculous amounts of content in one of these tiles that you're probably not going to notice any of these borders, because 99% of players aren't going to just walk in a direction for 40 minutes. Most players are going to go do some points of interest, maybe explore around the area, and then they're probably going to take their ship or fast travel somewhere else, which is just going to take them to an entirely new Skyrim size tile. So me personally, I don't think this really changes anything for me. I don't think this would change the way I play a Bethesda game at all. I don't think this would have basically any downsides in the way I've played every other Bethesda game I played. And I don't think for the vast majority of players, this is going to be something they even notice when just normally playing the game. And as I've said many times in this video, and something that a lot of people still aren't realizing or not wanting to realize, that these tiles are massive. They seem to be legitimately the size of entire Bethesda games before Starfield. These things are massive. You're not just going to be walking 40 minutes in a straight line, getting to the border of a tile and thinking this game sucks. But that's pretty much all I want to go over. So thanks for watching.